back to Justice. Time for the panel on this extremely busy night of news, so let's get right to it. Joining me now, American Conservative Union Chairman Matt Schlapp and former Democratic congressional candidate and author of Reversing the Apocalypse, Crystal Ball. All right, guys, I have been glued to the television today.
Yeah.
Wow. And I will start with you, Matt. I mean, what do you take from all of this?
I didn't know Wilbur Ross could dance so well. I mean, I just
Wilbur Ross,
I couldn't.
the Commerce Secretary, right?
Stunning. You know, in American politics, you don't really wear the hat at the graduation ceremonies. You don't dance. You don't walk around with a sword. They broke all the rules, and it was really kind of cool because it was. You could see the hospitality. Yeah. There was more. Saudi Arabia. Look, we don't like everything about Saudi Arabia.
No, we don't.
But they are sure happy that there's a new sheriff in town in America because they really want to work with us to defeat the extremists in Iran.
Okay, and so, Crystal, what do you say to those people who say, you know, President Trump, he hates the Muslims and it's a Muslim ban and this, that, and yet you've got the most religious of Muslim countries greeting him like a king.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I think you have to look at Saudi Arabia and say, this is our ally where we find the most distance between our stated values and our alliance with them. I mean, just in terms of their treatment of women, right, of their rule of law in the country, of their human rights abuses. And I think, frankly, that was an area where there was always a discomfort with President Obama because he was so aggressive and outspoken about human rights. And frankly, President Trump just hasn't put that front and center in the same way, from his welcoming the president of the Philippines into the White House, from some of his comments about strongmen around the world. So I do think there is more of a comfort level there.
I have to say this, being married to a Cuban American, that a lot of us didn't appreciate the president going soft on the murderous regime of the Castro brothers either. The fact is, Obama had plenty of blind spots when it came to human rights. And the thing is, Donald Trump, what he's going to talk about tomorrow is about a pragmatic and realistic foreign policy. It's not about embracing everything that they do.
I'm curious about this, though. What is his foreign policy? Because
I think you're
I'm anxious to hear,
the whole world is going to be watching
what he
to
said
say
on the trail has been very different from what we've seen so far in office.
Look, this is what's fascinating about the whole week, about everything that happened in politics, and then look what's happening overseas. The fact is this. Yes, Donald Trump said a lot of things on the campaign trail, and actually he's the guy who the Muslim world and who Saudi Arabia realizes if they can forge a relationship with him, they can do business and they can get some stuff done for the world.
But they can do business and they can also fight their historic enemy, Iran.
That's exactly right.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's
but,
exactly
you know, the
right.
Saudis have been promoting this visit as the Arab Islamic American Summit. And, you know, you can see, you know, they've got the American flag along with the Saudi Arabian flag, and all of these allies that we never expected to be as receptive given the last 8 years seem to be back in the fold. But, Crystal, what do you think of whether or not this is going to inure to the president's benefit, or are the Americans and I won't categorize all of them, but the liberal media and the left, I mean, they're still going to be criticizing him?
Well, of course, but what I would say is this. You know, I think that especially after the past week that he's had, the bar here is so low. As long as the president can get through these visits without provoking some sort of a major international crisis, I think he's going to get pretty good headlines out of this. Now, that little sugar high is only going to last for a very short period of time. Then he's going to have to come back here and come back to reality. But I do expect he'll get some good headlines out of this trip.
Well, and you know what, Matt? I really think that the Arabs, the Saudis, I think they respect power. Yep. They respect strength. They respect a businessman. You know, they respect everything that Donald Trump is. And so they like the deal making. I mean, they're getting arms that they can fight their enemy with. And so, but at the same time, I wonder how Israel is looking at this.
You know, I think that they're a little discomforted with the idea that he went to Saudi Arabia first. But I think they understand, because of all the rhetoric from the campaign and because we are fighting radical Islamic terror, that it's quite symbolic for the president to say, look, we've got a lot of differences. I'm going to show you the respect. This is the thing that the Saudis really didn't like about Barack Obama. They felt like over and over again he disrespected them. It's not the criticizing on the human rights. He didn't even call them and clue them in on things that they were doing in the region. They feel like
Yeah,
they're going
can't do that.
to get to have a restart with President Trump.
Crystal, last word.
Well, I think that it's a good thing for America to the extent that this trip is successful. So I'm cheering for the president's success. I hope he does not provoke any international crises.
I agree with you on that.
And we'll be excited to see him back home.
Matt Schlapp, Crystal, thanks so much for being with us tonight.